2, and we've made the decision to go athletic. We haven't been overly athletic at that position until the end of last year. Garrett Green started played I think all but 2 series versus Oklahoma and started the last 2. We were able to beat Oklahoma here at home, and then we beat Oklahoma State on the road. And so that definitely helped us last year. And Garrett and Nico Marchio, who's a redshirt freshman, are competing for the job, and we feel really comfortable with those guys. Their athleticism, their ability to make throws, leadership skills, both are proven winners. And I think our belief in them was shown by not going out and trying to get a quarterback in the portal.
West Virginia head coach Neil Brown joins us ahead of the college football season. On almost every hot seat list, your name is going to pop up. Do you pay attention, and do you feel pressure to win and to gain stability with your position?
No, I think everybody in this profession has pressure. I mean, look at what's happened this week. I would have said Pat Fitzgerald is one of the most stable coaching positions in the country, and now he's no longer the head coach at Northwestern, which is unfortunate. But no, I feel very fortunate to be able to do this for a living. I've been involved in athletics for as long as I can remember, and I feel very fortunate. And so I don't necessarily feel pressure. I feel a sense of gratitude, and my biggest thing is we want to be better. We want to be better, and there's a multitude of reasons why we're in the position we're in. But at the end of the day, we haven't been good enough, and we need to be better this year. And that's what our state deserves. That's what our fan base deserves. Our team's working toward that, and I firmly believe we'll be better. We got, in preseason poll, according to the Big 12 media, we're last. I can guarantee you we will not finish last in our league. We've got a much better football team than that, and we're anxious to go out and show it.
Do the guys feel the same way? Do they pay attention to the preseason rankings and get angry about that?
Yeah, they see it. I mean, it's on social media, so they see it. They're not necessarily reading newspapers or reading magazines or listening to talk radio, but they see it on social media, and so they know about it. It's not something – at the end of the day, we want to be our best version of ourselves. We're not really concerned about what the media does. Some of that is laziness too. Like I sit here and look at, we've got almost 120 starts returning on our offensive line. We've got a budding superstar at running back and C.J. Donaldson. We've got defensively, we've got all league defenders at each level. Sean Martin will be an all league defender on the defensive line. Lee Koba is one of the leading returning tacklers. I think he'll be an all-league player at Mike linebacker, and Aubrey Burks is one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in our league. And so we fell off last year. We didn't play as good a defense we did the first 3 years, and we'll get that rectified. We're going to play much better defense this year, and that'll give us an opportunity to win.
You mentioned Pat Fitzgerald. I would imagine that the news from Northwestern puts every head coach in college football on high alert about hazing and hazing culture inside the locker room. How have you tried to police that, and how do you move forward as a coaching staff and try to eradicate things like that?
Yeah, I think you bring it up. Obviously we'll talk about it this week just because it's in the press. I think anytime there's hot button issues, whether it's in athletics or politically, or I think you bring them up because our job first and foremost is to educate, and there is no room for hazing. I don't know the particulars of that case. I know that in every interaction I've ever had with Pat Fitzgerald, I leave very impressed. But I don't know anything about that. We try to walk through the locker room every day after practice, and you hope that eradicates some of it, and then you constantly educate. And, anytime you're in charge of, you're going to have approximately 120 players. In our building, which is football only, we'll have 400 plus people move through here every single day. And it's hard to keep a pulse on all that. And so I think the best thing you can do is educate, and you got to have a presence.
So that's a really interesting point you bring up, and this is something that we debate on Sports Talk quite a bit, is debated on social media, and that is how much should a coach know, even if the coach can't know everything. And so how do you walk that line between what you should know and what there's just no way for you to know happens in every second of every day?
Well, I think the nature of that question is difficult to answer, as it is because, my rebuttal would be, if you don't know, how do you know? You know what I mean? There's just a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I think what you try to do is you try to instill a culture where, whether it's the leaders in each of your support areas, nutrition, strength conditioning, athletic training, equipment, et cetera, and the leadership within your football team, you try to establish a culture where when there's an issue, they come to you, or they go to your chief of staff, or they go to their superior, and you're able to rid those problems. That's what you hope. But there's no perfect scenario. It takes one evil to erase, a lot of good. And I think that as a leader, whether you're in college athletics or you're as a CEO of a company, I think those are difficult things, and I don't sit here and have a perfect answer for it.
Finally, this is a new look Big 12. 4 new schools will enter. 2 schools will have their final season, Texas and Oklahoma. And so what does it mean to you to see a conference that has gone through and will be going through over the course of the season quite an evolution?
Yeah, I think we're in a sense of power. We really are in a position of power right now. I think that the league acted swiftly. Oklahoma and Texas, they've been good partners. I don't think anybody's necessarily they're not gonna get a farewell tour by any means. Just kind of another game. We don't play Texas this year. We do play Oklahoma. So it's kind of another game on the schedule. But we added 4 really good football teams that all had draft picks last year. They've all been ranked in the top 20 in the country within the last 2 years. So this is a quality football league that's only improved this year, and we think it's positioned well. And I think our commissioner, Commissioner Yormark, is a mover, and he's going to continue to put our league in a position where we'll continue to be successful for years to come.
Do you feel any responsibility within the athletic department to have a good season because of the tumultuousness of what's happening in the basketball department?
I think you want to have a good season regardless. I don't think it has anything to do with basketball. I think there's those things have been well documented, but I don't think it affects us. We're across campus, and so our guys are kind of focused on getting ready for fall camp, and then fall camp will get ready for the season and be ready to play. And our guys will be prepared, and we have every intention to have a really successful football season and a season that our fans will be excited about, and we'll celebrate in the postseason somewhere.
Neal Brown is joining us here on the show, West Virginia head coach, as the Mountaineers of the Big 12 are in the middle of media days for the conference. Coach, I appreciate the time. Best of luck this season. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, remember that, everybody. Neal Brown saying we will not finish last in this conference. We will not finish last. That's the fighting words with the Mountaineers this season. More on the Big 12 as we make our way through the morning. But right now, headlines with Andrew Bogish.
DA, the Damian Lillard updates keep coming. Maybe the Heat almost have enough to give the Blazers for the unhappy guard, but maybe trade talks will continue deep into the regular season. Nobody knows more about trading for and trading away star players than Nets GM Sean Marks, so he was asked about Portland's plight yesterday on Sirius XM NBA radio.
It's not easy, but I think you have to look at it and say, okay, what's the best thing for the franchise moving forward? And I think it's never quite as bad as what people make it out to be, and it's never probably as good as what the media or speculation makes it out to be too. You know what's going on inside your house, and you manage that.
Blazers GM Joe Cronin has said he'll be as patient as possible, needing to make the best trade for the franchise. LeBron won the ESPY last night for a best record-breaking performance for breaking Kareem's scoring mark. In his acceptance speech, he humbly told us he's not retiring yet after opening the door slightly for that following the Lakers' playoff exit. LeBron becomes the 6th player ever to play 21-plus NBA seasons when that next season begins. And lastly, from the NBA, signs a 2-year, $60 million extension with the Celtics, whom just traded for him. Now makes $96 million over the next 3 seasons. The Washington Post says there are some legal hang-ups that could delay the close of the Commander's sale to Josh Harris. Among the issues are these John Gruden emails and the legal ramifications of leaking them to the media. For now, NFL owners supposed to vote on the sale at meetings next week in Minneapolis. A Saquon Barkley update yesterday from ESPN. As we already knew, Barkley doesn't want to play the franchise tag, and Monday is the deadline for an extension for tagged players. So, without a long-term deal, Barkley's Week 1 status would reportedly be in jeopardy. If you're not listening to one of the 30-plus Giants podcasts out there, the team has apparently offered Barkley a contract averaging $13 million a year, while Barkley keeps refuting the idea he wants $16 million annually. U.S. men's soccer is out of the Gold Cup, losing its semifinal in San Diego with Panama on penalty kicks last night. The Kickin' Van Halens now face Mexico in the final on Sunday in Vegas. We've got some golf/soccer news now. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas investing with the 49ers group that is about to take over English club Leeds United. WNBA last night, the Aces now 19-2 after dropping the Sparks 97-78. And we're about to get some British bacon, some tennis puns this morning because the Wimbledon women's semifinals about to start. Elina Svitolina and
Marketa Vondrousova
are first. Then it's Ons Jabeur against Arina Sabalenka. DA, back to you.
Squishy Liquid tweets in, when I first heard about it, I was like, bacon for tennis? I don't follow tennis at all. Then I remembered I don't follow hockey at all, and that never stopped me from enjoying bacon. Get 'em, Bake King. Hashtag toast 'em. When we come back, the first ever British bacon, it's pucks with Boyle. Pucks and plonks. No, it's not pucks at all.
No.
It's puns and plonks from London. Next. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
Hashtag toast 'em.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Right arm, right leg.
Left leg, left arm.
Both legs above the knee.
Both legs, part of my left hand.
Lost both my legs in Iraq.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans, thanks to our donors and supporters. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
The IRS, the world's most aggressive collection agency. They can seize your property, bank account, and garnish your wages. They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-312-9970. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-312-9970. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-312-9970.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
The sizzle of the best goals.
Sing us a song. You're the overtime ending man.
The saltiness of the best games.
God, we're having a good time. Having a good time.
We crave the nightly action of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's a hockey, you know. It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad? He's a good guy.
It's your morning serving of Canadian bacon. Only on the DA Show.
But today it's British bacon. Pat Boyle, take it away.
All right, DA. We take a hop, skip, and a jump across the pond to the All England Tennis Club in the Greater London area where the fine lads and lasses are sipping on their bubbly. They're dousing their strawberries with the most divine cream in all the land. They're knocking boots in the private rooms on the outskirts of the tennis garden. Everybody's wearing white, putting shame to Michael Rubin's grandiose parties. And of course, at centre court, 128 men and women have been reduced to 4 on each side. The Wimbledon semi-finals is set, so let's have a shag, yeah? We start with the final 2 women's quarterfinal matches yesterday. Not a good day for the lone remaining American, Madison Keys, when she went to turn on the ignition, hot and fresh out of the kitchen. It stalled. She couldn't unlock the big forehand yesterday as she broke down and the wheels fell off against the world number 2, Aryna Sabalenka. The Belarusian was rushing off to a hot start with a double break lead in the first set. Then Madison spent the second set searching for the keys to victory, but to no avail. Sabalenka drove right through her for a 6-2, 6-4 win. Who will she meet in the semis? The other quarter was a popcorn match, as the Brits liken it. A rematch of last year's Wimbledon final, pitting the defending champion Elena Rybakina versus Ons Jabeur. Last year, Jabeur became the first Arab and Muslim woman to reach a major singles final, as well as the first woman from Africa to do so as well. And the Tunisian had a set point in the first set, but Rybakina turned the lights off on Ons, stuffing set point before winning the opener in a tiebreak. However, after that, Jabeur started to pour her heart on the floor, and she started cooking like she was making soup du jour. Ons won a tight second set, and then Jabeur would soar in the third, dancing her way on the floor to victory. After the match, Jabeur said she was at war with her team, but stuck to her chores.
I kept yelling at my coach, just like, you told me to play like this, you know? And I'm like, look what's happening, you know? But then, you know, I really tried to get back in the zone and believe that this plan is the plan, you know, and kept going. And I think I'm going to end up writing a book about my emotions because this is unbelievable.
Rybakina was off while Jabeur said, turn me on, let me hold you, go caress my body, you got me going crazy, turn me on, hug me, kiss me, squeeze me, hug me, kiss and caress me. Meanwhile, we also had the final two men's quarters yesterday in the one match. It was world number 1, Carlos Alcaraz, the 20-year-old phenom looking for his first Wimbledon semifinal. He took on a fellow 20-year-old rising superstar, world number 6, Holger Rune of Denmark. Well, it was fairly straightforward. Carlitos pulled the rug out from Rune, put him in a choke Holger, and Alcaraz sent him to Alcatraz with a straight sets victory. And the other match, world number 3, Daniil Medvedev. He won the U.S. Open 2 years ago, but has never been to a semifinal at Wimbledon. In his way, the Cinderella story of Wimbledon, the last American man, Chris Eubanks, who was ranked outside the top 100 just 4 months ago. Medvedev won the first set, but Eubanks did not want the clock to strike midnight just yet. So using a giant serve that touches 140 miles an hour, Eubanks took the second set to the bank and then cashed in for the third set as well. He was moving way better on the grass than Mraz does mowing the lawn, and he was mowing down the Russian. But Medvedev's nickname is the Bear, and he was feeling grisly with his back against the wall. So he put his big paws on Eubanks and emptied out his checking account, winning the fourth set in a tiebreaker. It was one-way traffic in the final set as the clock did indeed strike midnight, and Eubanks was transformed into the proverbial pumpkin. Victory was as sweet as pie for Medvedev, but after the match, Chris Eubanks said he's enjoyed the ride.
Where I end up. But I think at this point, especially considering the fact that I spent 5 years hovering in that 220 to 150 range and playing so many challengers, it's like, man, at this point, it's just a cherry on top. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm having a great time.
You could say he is feeling good and doing well. You could surmise that Chris is feeling alive and he's having a good time. Having a good time. And why not? He just made $430,000 at Wimbledon and has already made over $1 million this year. I think it's fair to say that Eubanks is headed to the bank, and when he gets there, they'll say, hey, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. I say, hey, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Finally, today, in less than an hour from now, the women's semifinals kick off with a matchup that nobody could have predicted. Markéta Vondrousova of the Czech Republic taking on Alina Svitolina of Ukraine, who just had a baby back in October and only came back to the tour 3 months ago. She gave birth 9 months ago and has now given birth to one of the best patches of her career. Svitolina trying to channel her inner Thumbelina, a tiny girl with a big heart who encountered toads, moles, and cockchafers in her adventures. Svitolina with a much tougher challenge than little Thumbelina. She has a war-struck and impoverished country on her back. As she said, it means the world to see Ukraine rally around her.
There was many videos also on the internet where the kids are watching on their phones, and this really makes my heart melt seeing this, and just happy I could bring little happiness to people of Ukraine.
Svitolina looking for more Grina. She'll have to play Mina in search of her first slam final. Vondrousova is in search of her second. And that is your British bacon.
Okay. No grading yet. No grading until after the commercial break, but a Wimbledon tennis clap.
Wow.
For that performance. We will do the grading of the oinks, the analysis of the first ever British bacon coming up on the top side of the hour here. But you just heard history. That was A, the first time we've ever done a non-hockey bacon here, and B, the first time I've actually paid attention to Wimbledon. So
everybody wins.
I generally kind of know what's happening, but that's the first time I've heard something that I've actually wanted to listen to. So great job by Pat. When we come back, the grading and the analysis of the bacon and a Kyler Murray optimism. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Summer's in full swing, and you know what that means. Temperatures are hot, grills are hot, and the deals are hotter than fire at Omaha Steaks. That's right, America's original butcher is heating up the summer with blazing hot deals on mouth-watering grilling favorites guaranteed to tantalize your taste buds. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Garden in the search bar, and for a limited time you can score 32 delicious grilling essentials, including 12 free burgers from Omaha Steaks for just $99.99. You'll get 4 of their world-famous fork tender filet mignons, 4 air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, 4 boneless pork chops, 4 gourmet jumbo franks, and so much more for 62% off the regular price. The Hotter Than Fire Pack